Guys, this match did not disappoint. We all knew it would be back and forth, a battle between a tactically world-class team in Manchester City versus an insanely talented and dangerous Real Madrid attack. So let's get straight into it with these two clips so I can show you why this could have been a Champions League final. We start in the 11th minute with Real Madrid building out, beating a Manchester City high block, extremely high-level possession from a confident Real Madrid, who eventually managed to get the ball to Vinicius Jr., who then nutmegs Ruben Diaz before he plays a Trivela pass to Mbappe, who gets into a dangerous area and forces Ederson to make a really good save. In a very, very similar fashion, only 7 minutes later, City find Kevin De Bruyne out wide, who gets the ball to Guardiola central. You guys already know Guardiola loves his inverted fullbacks. He spins out of the pressure from Rodrigo, and as they've done many times, they get the ball to Erling Haaland, who's isolated 1v1 with Raul Asensio. He holds the ball well and makes the right decision to play Jack Grealish. Vardiol continues his run forward, and Grealish plays the perfectly weighted over-the-top ball to Vardiol, who chests it down for a one-time Erling Haaland finish. And I'm being honest, I think the level of play and the ability to execute these two plays can only currently happen between maybe 4 or 5 teams in the world. Manchester City, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Barcelona, and I think that might be it. Let me know in the comments if you guys think there's another team in the world that is either as consistently dangerous in the attack as Real Madrid or as tactically superior than other teams as Manchester City. So if you guys watched the game and you were just as impressed as I am, stick around so we can break it down from a tactical perspective, and I promise I'll do my best to make it somewhat educational. The first concept for today's video is going to be the battle of the build-up, as I'll call it. It's interesting to me that both teams went head-to-head in how they managed their possession, as well as a very similar style of pressing with two up front. I actually thought Madrid would sit back and City would high press, and I was actually surprised with what happened. The next concept will be Real Madrid's attack. The front four of Bellingham, Rodrigo, Mbappe, and Vini Jr. are almost impossible to stop, and I want to break down their tactics to get forward and ultimately score enough goals to win the game. Finally, we have our special player segment, and I typically reserve this for the positive performances, but today we're going to have to talk about the one player that really stood out negatively and how his performance changed the game. And if you want to guess who that is, pause the video right now and comment down below to see if you can get it right, and then you'll see later when we talk about him. So let's start with each team's build-up. Real Madrid split the center backs with Courtois on the ball and have Camavinga in the 6th position, with Ceballos slightly higher to have an extra passing option if they could find the passing lane. Notice that City started their high block with 2 players centrally instead of a more traditional 3, which means that they wanted to force the ball wide and not through. Madrid choose to go long with 4v4 in the attacking half. Now let's look at City. Ederson on the ball with 2 center backs split wide, Jones, Silva, and Akanji tucked in centrally. The extra number in the midfield allowed them to move the ball out more effectively, but notice that Madrid, just like City, had a high block that started with a front 2 of Mbappe and Vini Jr., and they were also okay with City going around them, but not through. The difference is that Madrid's front 2 were easy to get around, and once City got the ball wide and Madrid's midfield would drop back, John Stones or one of the inverted fullbacks would pop in to get the ball. This led to slightly more possession and overall passes for City in the opposition half, and if we go back to the goal from a different angle, you can see what Manchester City try and do in the attacking half when a team plays with a high block or a high press. They want to give Haaland space to go 1v1 because they'll take that matchup all day, and the moment it does get to him, they immediately offer support. And if you guys have been watching my tactical analysis videos, you'll know one of the reasons that Liverpool are top of the table and doing so well is because of their forward runs and the midfielders getting into higher positions to create space for teammates, but also to stretch the opponent. And in today's match, Manchester City did exactly this with Vardiol. Where most players would have stayed in their position and let the attacking players do the work, he puts in close to a 50-yard sprint to create an overload and a 2-versus-1 against Asensio, and then he's rewarded with an assist. So for all the young current players out there looking to make it at a high level, this is the kind of work rate that it takes. And so on the other side, because City's lines were closer together when they were defending, Real Madrid had to settle for more passes in their own half, and I think Camavinga had a really good game for the most part, but him and Dani Ceballos in the midfield were obviously not as comfortable as Bernardo Silva and John Stones. And they also didn't get the help of the inverted fullbacks like City did, so it was hard for them to ever really get the ball from organized possession and break lines. Real Madrid was much more successful using a longer ball to stretch the lines and then try to recover the second ball. And when they did manage to win the first one out of the air, they found themselves in behind the midfield line of City, and that's how they got into the attacking half more often. But don't get me wrong, City also used the long ball a couple of times, and on one specific occasion, KDB got in behind, but obviously he's not fast enough to create anything dangerous. And so even though we all knew that this is how it would go, that City would be better in possession than Madrid, I was slightly disappointed at how Madrid didn't really press well at all. Mbappe and Vini Jr. got beat pretty often, and you can tell it left Bellingham frustrated that Real Madrid didn't want to take the risk. But when you are Real Madrid, you rely on the threat that you have in the attack, and that threat can only be kept quiet for so long. If you want to stop Real Madrid, you have to make sure that your backline is extremely well connected in order to catch them offsides, and you also need to win as many of the 50-50 and transition moments as possible. Real don't ever, and I mean ever, overplay their possession. The moment they see an opportunity, they play forward and in behind to Mbappe or Vini Jr. City were inches away from letting Real Madrid take the lead with the ball in behind, but fortunately stepped up just in time to keep Vini Jr. offsides. If we look at the first play I showed you in this video, this was Real Madrid's best build out without going long, and it's not dangerous at all really until Vini Jr. nutmegs Ruben Diaz and then Trivela passes to Mbappe. So within a split second, City go from defending really well to Mbappe in behind and with an opportunity to score. And if we look at Madrid's first goal to tie the game, it is a bad free kick, but just look at Mbappe's movement. He goes from being completely frozen, and the moment Ceballos gets the ball back facing forward, boom, he runs in behind. City get caught on the wrong side of the ball, and Mbappe, with the world's worst finish, scores the goal. And I think it was so bad that it caught Ederson off guard, and that's how it went in. And I think the big talking point before the match was Madrid's makeshift defense, that everyone forgot that Real Madrid defend best by scoring more goals than the other team, which leads me into the next concept and how Madrid got the chance to win the game. I'm a big believer that individual performances win or lose the match, and it seems like Pep Guardiola is back to square one with who is his better keeper. He's been going back and forth between Ederson and Ortega, but neither have had convincing performances recently. Today was very disappointing for Ederson. With City up 2-1, Ederson has a terrible side volley, giving the ball to Madrid, who will never let you get away with it. They managed to get the ball to Vini Jr. for a shot, and Ederson has a chance to redeem himself, but only makes it worse by saving the ball in a way that just lets it fall for Brahim Diaz. 2 mistakes in one play, and Madrid all of a sudden tied the game. And in the third goal, not all the blame goes to Ederson, but he still makes another mistake. Real Madrid go long like we spoke about earlier. Bellingham wins the first one, and it seems like City have recovered it, but Rico Lewis waits too long and Vini Jr. pokes it past him. Ederson misjudges the distance and gets caught in the middle of nowhere. And once again, Madrid will punish you for this, and that's what separates the top teams from the bottom teams. You make a mistake, you're going to get punished. And I feel bad for Ederson because I think he's a legit keeper, but when you're consistently being moved in and out of the starting 11, your confidence starts to fall, and you begin to question yourself a bit. And a keeper questioning himself is probably the worst thing you want happening against a team like Real Madrid. So it sets us up for an even more exciting second leg back in Madrid, where the game is close enough for City to overturn it, but also with the risk that Madrid completely smash them, for City having to take that risk and push forward. So let me know below what you think will happen in the second leg of this matchup and whether City or Madrid will progress into the next round. And if you guys appreciate the work it took to break this game down tactically, don't forget to subscribe. We're so close to 1,000 subs, and I appreciate all you guys out there for supporting the channel. That's it for this one, and we'll catch you in the next one. Alright, Roman, you can talk.
Grandma, you were asleep.
Say, hey, hold on. Get nice and close.
Okay.
And say, hold on right there. And say, don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget for your subscribe.
Say, make sure you hit the like button.
Make sure you hit button.
Say, boom, bap, boom, bap, boom.
Boom, bap, boom, bap, boom.
Say, shoo.
Shoo.